My parents recently bought icebreakers. Never really had them in the house before. I plan to put it in my car, so when I go to college, I got a fresh mouth under my mask.
Thanks for that cold open.
Yeah, thanks. It's very
Should
specific anecdote. I just want that to be clear.
there's one on here. There's one on here. Should obese people pay more for healthcare?
Oh my god.
They should change my mind.
Sick.
There are 31 people in this channel
Oh,
on
we can make it more.
absolutely.
Let's add 4 more, boys.
Let's add 4 more.
Do our campaign in the middle of it.
Oh man. If you vegan, would it make you moral? Oh whoa.
Oh god. Stop.
There's one on here that I am convinced is just straight up Taliban. It is air biting. There's a guy named Hussein.
This has been a
Baku
curious
goes
minute and
in there.
30 of the recording session.
God, Bakugo's in there too. God damn it, Bakugo, watch out. Join the
So, John, I know you're loving the stages, but
Yeah,
camping-
it's time. It's time.
Oh, was it time? I had no idea. Yeah, but we've only
Yeah,
been
it's
going
time.
for 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
Shut the fuck up. Start the fucking episode.
I solemnly refuse. Actually, no, not solemnly.
Sick.
I
Roll
enthusiastically
credits.
refuse. There's every hard cut to the credits.
Roll credits.
Oh well, if that's the case, I recently ordered from Sarku Japan.
Gay?
I got Snapple, lemon tea, and it came in a nice plastic bottle. I still got it. I put other iced tea in there.
You got a bottle and you
Oh,
put
wow.
other iced tea
XT?
in it?
So, welcome to the Phoenix Podcast. No.
Yeah. Yeah, spoken to a new
Blue
bit
Phoenix.
that we do at the beginning of every K4 session, where we play we role play an in character entire 2 hour long podcast, and there's another 2 hour long session on top of that. Yeah.
Gotta get immersed,
I don't
Yeah,
have
bro.
classes tomorrow.
I do.
Says Kyle as he worries about the thing he has due tomorrow.
I don't have
It's
anything
too
to do
late for
tomorrow.
that now.
I have to be in bed by like 10 though, because I have to wake up at 7.
It's too late for that now.
Okay.
Too
well,
late.
let's
Too
get
late.
the-
Should've thought
Imagine
about
having
that.
things due tomorrow.
Lamau, imagine doing things.
Imagine having a bedtime. Can't relate.
Wow.
Lemao.
Imagine doing the whole college thing. Can't relate.
I know, right? Unrelatable.
Just gangster things. All right, let's start this fucking episode already.
What do you mean, bro? Hold on, let me see. It's only been 3 minutes and 52 seconds. We have a solid like hour and like 56 minutes left of this podcast, bro. Come on. But okay, fine. If you insist on yanking my leg,
We're your content. All we have to do is not say anything.
hey man, I can make plenty of content on my own. You guys know I could talk to myself for 2 hours straight. Don't think I don't do that already. All right. So yeah, welcome to Code's Corner, Phoenix Podcast K4 episode podcast. I am your host, K4, joined today by Phoenix and Blue, and episode 30 something. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, our intrepid group of morally ambiguous mercenaries continued on their singular day trip through the city of Chicago after being assailed at multiple locations, purchasing a small-sized mech from a convention center, and then You guys made it back to the hotel. You guys handed off Barry Bullet, whose face had been obliterated by a hacked VR headset. Handed him off to the authorities, and he hopefully will be able to race the next day. And then you all were told to prepare for the gala that will be happening later this evening. So you did, as far as I'm aware. You guys also Bonus and Nox went on a date, and they saved, well, quote unquote saved, I guess, a young test subject with psychic powers from her pursuers, before promptly handing her over to Dapper's contact in Chicago, which, for all the group knows, very well could be worse than the fate she's already in. So
that is very true. Unless he's trying to smuggle her out of the country.
I got money. That's all I care about.
That's very fair.
Like I said, morally ambiguous group of mercenaries.
I mean, hey, you know what? Business expenses. It comes out on taxes.
Yeah. So you
I get that tax back.
You all are. I have to roll for the percent. I should have done this when we were talking about nonsense, but I have to roll for the stocks.
Oh, that is true.
Oh, I got a 70% for Cunning Enterprises, so they're doing pretty good today.
Yay!
And then I got a 4. No, that's fine.
How did LSSI get a 4?
It had to be. You know what it has to be? Barry.
Oh no!
Him being there is literally costing them like millions of dollars
in stocks. Oh god.
Right.
Oh god. They crashed. They crashed hard.
Yeah. God, I don't think I could have rolled that bad, to be honest. The odds of that are.
So what's my KE number up to?
I will let you know after I take a look. After my Google Docs stops loading. Right.
Because
years would be up to probably like 1,500 at this point. And then I will do it.
1.5, you say?
Indeed.
Oh, so it's literally just where it's been.
Well, it was at 1.15 thousand, and it's climbed to 1.5. Where is Nox? I have to tank your stocks in LSSI.
Yeah.
You should have pulled out when you had the chance, man. What can I say?
I'll hold the course. I'll stay the course.
I don't plan to
Not
pull
pulling out yet.
anytime soon, so.
My pull-out game is strong, so I don't need to worry about it yet.
Alright, so I will say that for Nox, your KE stock goes up to 6,000 from like 5.5, but your LSSI drops from 5.5 to 4.75 thousand. So
Yeah.
you lost a bit more money than you actually ended up gaining. It's only because I rolled a 0.04 on a 1d100. So
I don't know how the hell you
yeah, that's almost as bad as it could have been. So see,
let's
anyway.
hope it's not a prediction for this session.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope.
LSSI stock see an increase of 0.4%.
Yeah. So yeah. Is there any business you all wanted to attend to before the gala? Any discussions, any contacts, any purchases, any, I don't know, travel?
One of us needs a mech contract, just saying.
Contract?
Contact, my bad.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Yeah. I do need a mech contact.
Let's see here. I think I have a few more contact points to spare.
I don't know if I have any contact points.
Well, I think I had like maybe
It says +2, so I'm assuming I do have.
Yes, that means you have
contacts.
2. And you get 1 at the end of every mission, by the way, so.
So I'll use one.
I have 5 contact points. Holy shit.
Yeah, bro, you have the potential to be a very well-connected individual. You're the oldest person in the group, technically, so. That covered the territory.
Oh damn! I should
I
Bro,
thought Bonus was older.
Bonus is probably old.
Well, Bonus is in his
Maybe?
50s, and because how old biologically does Nox look?
Nox does not look biologically that old, especially from her picture. She looks probably in her like mid to early, somewhere between 20s and 30s, really, in my opinion.
All right, so I'll say 25. 25 minus 18 gives you 7. Means that Nox is chronologically 88 years old.
Holy shit! I'm an
Because
old
of
bitch.
Codian's age. So
Fucking boomer.
yeah, you all mock Bonus for being old, but Nox is almost twice his age. So
You don't know that.
no,
Nox doesn't
Bonus
act it
yeah, Nox
at
definitely
all.
doesn't act it. Well, that's because Codians they're like humans. They react very poorly to change, but Codians age slower, so they're kind of more psychologically adapted to that kind of long-term lifespan, whereas Bonus is expected to die like 3 decades ago at this point. So you didn't think to make it this far in the first place, let alone have to put up with you people.
You people.
You people.
Yeah.
That's
You
racist.
yes. So yeah. So you wanted to spend who wants to spend the contact? Since apparently that's a
I do.
discussion. Okay. In that case, you roll 1d4 and then I will roll 1d4.
Alright.
Gonna be there?
That is a 4.
Alrighty, let me get my dice. Let me get my rule book up so I can pull up the rules for contacts that I forgot I don't have on my K4 plan sheet anymore. Because I had to put it on the rule book. Alrighty, so you got a 4. I think that means they know you or like they're good at their job or something like that.
I remember something was 4 is like the best output.
Yeah, 4 is always the best, and
like
1's always the worst.
Extremely high quality output.
Yeah, and then another 4. I don't remember the 4.
The second 4 thing is if they like you or not.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And like the 4 is they really like you. Like they
Yeah.
appreciate you and
Some-
will only ask for like an extra 1,000.
Yeah,
They only
lose
ask for
1,000.
1,000, basically.
Yeah, you only lose 1,000 from creating them or some shit.
No, when you use them.
Yeah.
Ah.
Let's see. This is the questionnaire. Matrix guards. Hacking programs. I'm almost there. I think. Let's have passed it already. Suck. Con numbers. Lasers. No, I have gone past it. Son of a gun. Alright, I'm just gonna.
Was this contact by the way, John?
This is the mech
What?
one, right? You wanted?
Yes. Yes. I want to mech contact.
Okay. I need to
I
find.
should make. I don't know what contact I should make, if I'm being honest.
You don't need to make anything.
I don't.
Not to sound passive aggressive, but I mean, yeah, unless you feel like there's something you particularly need. But keep in mind, if you make a contact in Chicago, unless you specifically ask for it to be in Ryanstown, it's going to be in Chicago. So.
Oh, I figured that.
I mean, I would like to have this contact in Ryanstown because that's where we're primarily using the mech.
What do you mean, bro? Go international with the mech suit. Have it delivered to like
Yeah, we're using
Uruguay or something.
Yes, I'm gonna store our mech in Uruguay.
Mm-hmm. It's Hermes, bro. You've got Hermes Prime. You can get it sent to you back in a day.
Bro, I should just make.
Use my mech to remotely topple a dictatorship.
Yeah, bro.
Nah. You shouldn't do that. You should use
we go,
it to
contact details.
become the dictator.
Yes, bro. Come on. Oh, I saw it. Where did it go? Son of a. I had it. I saw it, and then I lost it.
That's rough. That's rough,
Having-
buddy.
This document, the rules document, is 146 pages, by the way. So, this is kind of annoying to have to sift through. Here we go. All right, I found it. So you got a 4, you said.
Yes.
The contact wants nothing in return for their services other than the standard $1,000 charge. So I need to roll my second
Hey.
one. I got a 2. Contact and the PC have never met. And to collectively decide how and or why you have never met the contact. Willingness to provide a service decreases a bit. Okay, so tell me about this contact, Cairo, and why you know of them but haven't actually met or done business with them yet.
This is someone that I met on an engineering forum that has extensive knowledge of mech maintenance, upkeep, weapons technology, and outfitting. Basically, jailbreaking different parts for one specific type of mech. Or, well, for different types of mechs, I should say.
Okay, so this is a criminal underbelly contact, is what you're telling me. This is like
Pretty much.
okay, like not like a chop shop. I guess it's a chop shop, but for mechs, which would be a different business, I guess, but same kind of concept. Aftermarket parts, customization options, you know, that sort of deal.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Sure.
The contract isn't void if I were to do like a paint job or change the like LEDs on it or
That's a good
just
question.
like light customization, right? It said nowhere in the contract that if I customize this mech to look a certain way,
Well, are you
like
treating
with
it like a car?
certain colors.
Yeah, but treating it like a
or a paint
car.
job.
I think so long as you don't like alter
Change the parts.
Yeah, the base, like cosmetics, I don't think make a difference because like even
Okay,
they
sick.
offer their own cosmetic options and stuff. So
Sick. So this guy would specialize in like basic repairs, firmware updates, making sure that, you know, you have the right insides to make the outsides work. And like he can customize mechs and stuff like that.
okay. Gender preference?
NA.
Non-applicable. Robot?
They're going to be
Seeing
a void creature.
Either
Void
either one
creature.
works.
Okay,
Either
so I have
one works.
an NPC.
The reason you
generator
haven't met them
here.
is because they live in the shadow.
Yeah, they're from it's literally just like Father Time, the Great Martyr, who has
they have
taken
been
human form.
banished to the Shadow Realm.
Man,
see.
sucks to be them.
Yeah, bro. Okay. Well, this is Wow, that's this. I have a random NPC generator up right now, and I rolled this. So tell me this if you think this works, right? Their name is Rudiger, which is actually a pretty sick name. That's pretty cool. His hair is well groomed. He's got bushy eyebrows. He talks very fast. His important characteristic: he collects the teeth, hair, and claws of slain opponents, which is really metal for an engineer. But his personality is friendly. Cool.
Yes. Yes.
And his neck is delusions of grandeur. So he's a megalomaniacal, friendly, teeth-collecting, well-groomed, fast-talking, illegal mech marketeer and engineer.
He needs to be Canadian.
Yeah, I can see it. All right, sure. He's we're talking like French Canadian or just like Canadian.
Oh, how you doing there, eh?
Oh, you're the teeth of my slain opponents here, friend.
There, eh?
Hey there, bud.
How you doing? What are you doing out there?
Alrighty, so I will add this guy to your.
Who lives in Ryanstown?
Yeah, he's Canadian, but he like moved there for his like business and stuff like that, you know.
So you said well-kept hair, bushy eyebrows?
Yes, yeah, well-kept hair, bushy eyebrows. He talks fast, collects the teeth of slain opponents, which could also manifest as he collects like scrap metal from mechs he's destroyed, which is also pretty metal, literally and metaphorically. But his personality is friendly. and his knack is delusions of grandeur. So he thinks he's better than he actually is, basically.
Oh God.
He thinks that he is, all the rage. Alrighty. So, So I assume you do you text this guy? Do you call him? Do you email him? Do you FaceTime him? Do you message him on like Google Messenger or whatever?
I
Well,
will. What I'm
send
gonna
him.
do is I'm going to message him on the forum that I know him from,
Okay.
and be like, "Hey, we both peruse the same forum. I just came into possession of a mech. Was wondering if you'd be available to to hold it down until I got back to Rhinestone. I've got the perfect character art."
Okay, so you're looking for. So you want him to store the mech for you, basically.
Essentially, just to look after it until we get back to Ryanstown.
Okay.
And I'll give him, I'll send him like 1,000 callers, and I'll be like, here's a list of some like cosmetics that, if you would be able to, I'd like to have done as well.
All right. He takes it back and he's like, are you like, is this mech like hot merchandise? I.e., did you steal it? And is it like being looked for, or like, do you want it to be hidden somewhere, or do you just want it to be kept, basically?
Kept and artistically changed. Keeping a dark color scheme to it. Utilizing probably urban camo. How is that for the character art, by the way? For Root again?
That'll work.
It's not hot or anything. It's not stolen. It is paid for. Like I said, I just recognized you from a forum that we both share, and I figured I'd share in the local business.
And he's like, all right. What class of mech is it?
Small, right?
Yes.
Small. Small.
Yeah. All right. So he's like, all right.
I'll send him the specs on the mech.
He's like, oh, it's like I heard about these things. These aren't even like in official military service yet. Top of the line stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The way I procured it was from an engineering convention out here in Chicago. So
He's like, ah, all right. Well, I would love to, take a look at it and stuff. Yeah, I can store it here. I think I've got a bay empty at the moment.
all right, sounds good. Thank you so much. And then I'll forward him the $1,000.
All right. Okay, so that is you do that, and you let Xanthorpe know. Rudiger sends you like an address to his warehouse and stuff.
He's dropping just the mech
Yeah.
off at that location, not the keys.
yes. He's dropping the. You have the keys.
I have the keys. I have the key.
Yeah. But he's dropping at the warehouse that you're provided and stuff that Rudiger provides. The warehouse that you assume anyway, that he keeps his mechs there. All right, you do that. Easily done. Lose that contact point. Anything anybody else wishes to do?
Not really.
Alrighty, Mr. Royd.
Yes.
Like what?
Huh?
What do you want to do?
Oh, I just said yes because you said my name.
Oh, what do you want to do, if anything, before the gala?
Your mother, XD. Blaine.
What?
You have been slain
Oh, yes, I have been.
by
Slain.
my sick, nasty, cunning intellect.
Yes.
Wits never before seen in mankind.
God. So I'll take that as a no then. You don't have anything you wish to do in particular?
Not really. I'm Gucci.
Alrighty. In that case, then we can skip the rest of the evening to the gala. I have a mosquito bite on the back of my knee, and I want to shoot myself.
Good.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I have one on my arm, one on my back of my knee, and it's driving me nuts. Because I only
Get
sit,
played, you absolute buffoon.
because I only sit cross-legged, so it's constantly rushing up against a mosquito bite. And I really want to just like cut my leg off at the knee right now.
Understandable.
Pull a berry and get a new bionic
Good.
leg.
Good.
But yeah, so you guys handle your business. You guys get all dolled up again in your fancy suits. I assume it'll be the same weapon loadout as you guys brought to the last gala. Is that a safe assumption
Yeah,
to make?
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I will say that you guys actually Oid, you no Barry's not there. Okay, so Oid, you get a text from Xanthorpe before you leave your hotel room to head across the compound to the gala, and he says that Barry isn't here; he's in the hospital. That he would like you to act as his security guard for the evening, so he can give his security guy the night off, basically.
Okay.
Is that amenable to you, good sir?
Are these acceptable terms?
If I'm still getting paid the wage, I would be for Barry, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you would be because you're not changing your pay or anything. Okay, cool. Then yeah, you all head back over to the out of the Six Cylinders hotel wing and across the compound to the actual restaurant area. You guys go, enter back in. It's the same layout as the one in Ryanstown, more or less. Although the actual compound is bigger. You guys get in the elevator. You all climb to the to the top floor where the gala is taking place, and the doors open, and you're all met with the members of Full Fuel minus Barry Bullet and Mr. Braden Xanthorpe, the Hermes Johnson, who is missing his bald bodyguard this evening. You all, walk on an elevator. Xanthorpe walks up, and he's like, good evening, everybody. Good to see you're all, nice and dressed up today. The plan, I think, for this evening is more or less the same as the last time, although since Barry is in the hospital getting new eyeballs put into his skull, I think it'll be significantly less interesting than the last one was.
Thankfully.
Hopefully, at least. Yes. So just, do what you did last time, accompany your respective individual. Clients don't wander off or try to ditch your tail, because if you die, I'll kill you myself. Yeah, have fun. And I will talk to you, gentlemen and ladies, later. And then he finger guns, and then he kind of wraps his arm around Oid, and he's like, "Now you and me, good sir, we gotta have a chat." And he just starts walking you over towards the bar at the far end of the room. And the rest of you are left with your assigned members of the fuel racing team.
I promptly give Ankh a small wrench to chew on while we walk.
Alrighty. In that case, the other members, Frank and Bonus, they both of them kind of walk over to some of the less formal kind of lounge areas near the door, and they just start they sit down and grab some cigars and start chatting to each other and stuff like that. Order some drinks. They seem to be getting along well. Once again, Faith and Knox, you guys are near the center of attention, or at least trying to be near the center of attention. Mingling, discussing with people. You notice that there are some different faces here than there were at the last gala. Some of them you guys would know are just like the different security crews or the different representatives of different corporations. Um, for the most part, anyway. No new racers, really. Um, Again, there are journalists and stuff with their little drones and the cameras that are walking around, giving interviews, asking questions. Um, and I think probably, we'll start off with. We'll do Oid and Hermes Johnson first because that's the interesting one. So, Mr. Oid, Xanthorpe walks you over to the bar, and he brings you over to one of the what are they called, stools, and he sits on one, and then he kind of like knocks on the bar, and the bartender just kind of puts a drink in front of him, and you clear as day watch the bartender pour like drugs, like a vial of drugs into the drink, and then like stir it with like a little bar spoon. And Hermes
Jesus
just
Christ.
I gotta love it.
so he does, and Xanthorpe's pupils dilate as he does so. Um, Lamau. But yeah, so he kind of tastes his drink, and he looks over to you and he's like, "I know you don't drink, Mister Bean, but if you want something, order it. It's on me."
Motor oil.
I mean, I could, but I'm not think I will.
Lamau. Okay. In that case, Cynthia would just kind of shrug and be like, "Well, it's yourself." It's like, but, Mr. Bean, I have noticed, with your side business, and he kind of like, wink, wink, nudge, nudges you. It's like, besides, of course, doing great work for the Hermes International Transportation Solutions Incorporated. Uh, your side business has been doing a little bit poorly lately. It was under my impression that an important third party had gifted you a rather large amount of product, and I believe an 18-wheeler. And according to them, the amount of product being moved is unusually low for your previous record.
I will quirk an eyebrow.
He's like, well, and he kind of like leans in and he's like, I don't blame you for this. I would expect that your time usually spent prescribing medication is taken up babysitting Mr. Bullet. Because, I am very
True.
much aware he is more than a handful. From what the hospital tells me, he's already racked up several dozen thousand colors and charges between all of the blood transfusions and the surgeries and the bionic eyes and the kidney replacements and the skin grafting and the anyway. So I won't blame you for your shall we say, a drop in productivity, but I just want you to know that I'm here if you ever need someone to give you some additional connections, shall we say?
And I'll go, well, thank you for the offer, but I think for now I can take care of this on my own with Barry being out of the picture for a little bit, I'll have a bit more free time.
And he's like, "Good, good. I'm glad to hear it." And he, claps you on the shoulder. He's like, "Well, I can assure you that most of the people in this party would very likely be willing to purchase something interesting from you. So, don't be shy." He says, sipping
Oh,
his
something
drink.
interesting? Is that what you've been having while we talk?
He's like, "Oh, well, yes, that is certainly what you could call it. Of course, it's all above board. Doctor's orders and all that." And he winks.
Of course, of course.
He's like, gotta take my vitamins, and then he kind of like snaps at the bartender, who gives him a bunch of pills, and he just downs them all with this like glass of like whiskey that he has. And he's like, "Ah, yes. Now, if you excuse me, I have some schmoozing to do. So, if you want to accompany me and try to look tough, then you can. But I understand if you have your other matters to attend to. So, feel free to make your choice." And then he kind of takes his glass of whiskey with him, and he walks into the crowd of people.
Schmoozy.
Yeah, bro, he's got a
Alright.
schmooze.
Well, I should at least do some amount of actual bodyguarding. So I think I'm gonna, shadow your boy Xanthorpe while,
While selling drugs.
yes.
Okay, so you just kind of fall behind him. I'm sure if like if there was a DEA in this timeline, they could like track your movement by tracking where Xanthorpe goes and where the drugs end up in the party. But yeah, so you don't even gotta make a check for this. You walk around, and after like 10 minutes, you notice like you can hear with your robot hearing. That Xanthorpe is straight up pointing you out to people as he walks by and telling them to buy drugs from you. So it's and he isn't even like being subtle about it. He's like, "I bring up some cocaine. Yeah, that guy over there, my bodyguard, he's got some sick, nasty stuff for you." They're just like, "Ah, really?
It's got
Thanks,
some sick
Xanthorpe."
white lightning.
Yeah, and they just like walk over and they're like, "I heard you got some crazy smack for me, brother." And you're like, "Sure, buddy, whatever you say." So yeah, Xanthorpe is trying to be a wingman, but for the drug dealing business, I guess. And he does schmooze. You get the feeling that when you see somebody smile, but there's like nothing behind the eyes, and it's just the most like obviously fake like etiquette and friendliness. That's pretty much Xanthorpe at this party. Like he walks around, he shakes hands, he kisses cheeks, he kisses rings. He uses every word in the dictionary that he has to. Nice big sophisticated words. Throws around big numbers. Throws around his weight as a executive. But he isn't from Chicago, and you pretty easily get the feeling that he's using this party to network for his own personal gain. Basically, he's using it to like meet people in Chicago, so he can make more money off of them. Which
I mean, what else do you do at parties?
yeah, you aren't at all surprised. Besides that, and him literally using you to sell drugs. So yeah, that's happening over on one end of the party, the corporate stuck up part of the gala. Across the way, let's cut over to Nox and Faith Fuel for a moment, shall we? So Nox, are you doing the same thing you did last time, where you were just kind of like uncomfortably following Faith everywhere she goes?
I mean, I suppose I'm not riding her ass, but sure. Oh yeah, if she like questions it, I'll be like, "You expect me to talk to anyone else here?"
Yeah, well, I guess she knows. I don't think she would see it like at this point. I think she expects it from you because she figures like, okay, you're being paid to be here, and like her attitude's not gonna make you go away because you're being paid too well to care. So she knows to just like let it happen basically and not put up a fight. And she does also schmooze, but in a bit of a different way. She throws around her good looks and her charisma a bit more than Xanthorpe does. Even though Xanthorpe isn't, a slit for sore eyes. And at one point, a reporter approaches Faith, and he's like, "Oh, Miss Faith, do you have anything to comment about the news of your team's main racer, Barry Bullitt, who's been recently interred into the Chicago medical facility for what was it? Grievous injuries to his face. You have any comment on that?" And she just kind of like looks at the reporter, like with this look of mixed confusion and like disgust, I guess. And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, do you have a comment on that?" And she's like, "No, I don't even know what happened. He just, we get the phone call or whatever, and said that his like face had been all messed up." And the reporter's like, "Great, you're useless," and then then probably walks away.
Wow.
And Faith just kind of like it gives him the finger basically behind his back as the reporter walks away, and she's like, "God, some people, I swear." And then she, keeps going on her way. And then a few minutes later, she's talking to some people, and Knox, you're close enough to hear what they're talking about most of the time. And pretty much everybody that she talks to, their first questions are always about Barry. Like, what happened to Barry? Did you do that to him? So basically, basically like claiming that she's trying to kill Barry to replace him, and she always gets like super like pissed off at the people who ask that, and they're like, "I don't know what happened. Leave me alone."
God, if you love Barry so much, why don't you marry him?
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody cared about him until he almost died yesterday or earlier today, even. So she's just like frustrated, basically. Eventually,
I will have also mentioned to Donna, be like, "Oh yeah, Barry's in the hospital."
well, yeah, the whole crew knows, because Xanthorpe had to call Frank, and Frank told the rest of them. And obviously, somebody else told the reporters, or at least other racers that then told reporters. So like, everybody here is talking about that, basically, about how something bad happened to Barry, and be like, "Ooh, who do you think did it? Oh, it could have been one of their team members. It could have been the mercenaries as if they're hired. It could have been Xanthorpe himself. It could have been one of the racing teams. Was it you? No, it couldn't have been me. Was it you?" And people are just like, the drama, the gossip. You know how it is. It's like a high school cafeteria in here, basically.
Whisper, whisper, whisper.
Yeah. So that's Faith's conversation for the most part, and she gets progressively more frustrated with people to the point where she kind of gives up trying to like schmooze and can make connections. She just kind of like plops down at the bar and just kind of like orders a drink, orders like a glass of wine or something like that, and just is like, I swear to God. Even when he isn't here, Mary is still the one taking all of the glory. And just kind of shakes her head at the crowd of people, several of whom are kind of like side-eyeing her and are like, did she do it? Did she try to kill Barry?
I mean, honestly, it would be a mercy on all of us.
See, that's Faith and Knox. And we look it over to Donna and Cairo. Donna, similar to the first time, she doesn't pay very much attention to the people. She's more interested in the food. She gets like,
fair enough.
Plates. And now this time, this gala is a bit differently, a bit different than the previous one. This one isn't an all-you-can-eat buffet style. This is like you sit at a table and you order it sort of deal. But it is still kind of feast style, where like if you order something, it comes for the entire table sort of deal. So people like after like probably like 45 minutes of like appetizers, like the catering crew wheels out like on the menu, it's advertised as being called the hot rod, right? But when they wheel it out,
Interesting.
it's a whole pig, right? A whole like
Interesting.
roasted pig, with like the spit roast through it still, but they've heated the spit roast, so it's also baking, like cooking the insides of the pig as well at the same time. And they have like fancy, like holographic decals in the air and stuff like fire, and it's pretty good. All kinds of exotic foods, sushis, seafoods, um, fancy expensive steaks, all organic stuff, all real food, by the way, which is rare for Ryanstown.
Very expensive.
Yes, as you guys
Well,
know,
we're not
going
in
to-
Ryanstown right now.
No, and that's the thing. Chicago is one of the few remaining places on Earth where actual real produce is produced via
Interesting.
hydroponics. So these people can afford, have a little bit cheaper access to real food. So it isn't quite breaking the bank of the MDRR, board to have this kind of party. Almost, but not quite. Yes, yeah. Donna orders like all kinds of different foods, stacks and plates of different things because you're all from Ryanstown. Real food is an enigma to you.
A commodity. No, it's not an enigma. We
Well,
know
not
a
to
couple
you,
of
'cause you
places
guys-
where we can get like actual real food.
It's also because you guys get paid enough to buy a car every week. So to most people, real food is an enigma. You guys are
Gotta show her
mercs.
the wangs.
Yeah, the good old Huang family.
The Huangs.
But yeah, so she orders all kinds of expensive foods. Doesn't really talk to anybody. But at one point, a journalist does walk up to her. The audience would clock it's the same guy that talked to Faith before, and kind of claimed her to be useless. So she walks over to Donna, or he walks over rather to Donna, and he's like, "Oh, Miss, I hear you're part of the full field racing team. Do you have any comment on what happened to Barry earlier today?" like-
I'll look over at him and I'll be like, no comment. And I'll put. Does he have a camera with him?
He would have like a camera drone with him, yeah.
I'll put my hand in front of the camera and like push it away. The camera drone.
And he kind of like looks at you and he's like, "What? What?" He's kind
I'm
of like,
sorry, but did I stutter?
and he kind of like shakes his head.
No, I'm trying to enjoy food myself. Please leave.
Yeah, he kind of like shakes his head and turns to walk away. I remember he's just like, "All these people are so useless, Jesus." He just keeps making his rounds through the people of the team.
At this point, I will also sit down and start eating.
Nice. All right.
Probably from the pig.
Of course. And the pig is on top of like a huge platter of like rice and other meats, ribs, and like whole corn on the cobs and stuff like that.
See, Cairo's Egyptian, but he's not Muslim, so I can get away with this.
Indeed.
He's Buddhist.
He's actually Zoroastrian.
Yeah. How'd you know?
So you guys are chowing down like in a weird anime filler episode. This is how the party continues for probably an hour and a half. Before all the reporters in the room more or less get simultaneous texts or phone calls, and all kind of like simultaneously like get their phones out or tap their temples where their cell phones are implanted in their head.
Oh, so this is like the part of the one John Wick movie where everybody gets the contract all at the same time.
They've all heard
And it's
Barry's
just
died in
one
the
phone
hospital.
ringing all at another.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's been put out $20,000 on bonus.
Barry.
Only but Barry.
Oh God. Oh God.
Let me put it. Actually, it could be Barry, but no, they wouldn't call reporters for that. But yeah, so all the reporters in the room get phone calls, text messages, and they all shortly thereafter, like within 10 seconds, they all begin rushing towards the elevator that leads into this part of this this level, the gala room. And everybody's eyes, all this attention is suddenly drawn to the elevator, as the glowing number on the sides, tick up as the elevator climbs the floors of the 6 cylinders, and eventually the number hits, whatever it is, like 2,000, and the doors slide open, and who should step through the door but a duo of gentlemen, both of whom are incredibly tall and incredibly muscular, and, I guess I'll ask, who among you would be paying attention to this commotion? If any of
Yeah,
you.
I'll look over my shoulder and I'll tap Donna, hey, look at this.
Okay. The rest of you?
I'll be looking out.
Alright. Nox, are you paying attention to the commotion, or are you,
Not at all. I'm snorting a line of cocaine off Xanthorpe's Xanthorpe's chest.
Massive robo
I'll
schlong.
sure. I'll just make sure no one's by us and we'll take faith, but sure, yeah.
Yes, kidnapping in the middle of a crowded party. Okay, well, in that case, Nox, you can make me an intelligence check.
Oh boy. Are we all making intelligence checks, or?
7.
No, not only Nox. It's a 7. Okay, that's definitely good enough. So you see, walking through this elevator. So you see there are 2 people in the elevator. 2 men, 2 of roughly equivalent height. Well, actually, the one in front is the only one you can see fully. Ridiculously well muscled, chromed to the nines. I mean, this guy is probably more metal than man at this point. And he's dressed in a very nice, oversized, skin tight dress shirt, vest, slacks, shoes, very obvious holsters under his arms, big briefcase. I have art for him, of course. And the guy behind the big dude, you guys can't really see. All you can tell is that he's wearing a incredibly shiny, reflective gold suit. It is probably one of the gaudiest things any of you've ever seen in your lives. This, it's like a disco ball, basically, but a suit. It's really unnecessary and over the top. Essentially, this is the bodyguard, basically, that you see. And Nox, you take one look at this guy, and you go, oh, it's a bodyguard, okay. And you take a second look at him, and you go, his flesh bits look vaguely familiar. And as he kind of steps out of the elevator, and him and the guy in the gold suit behind him begin marching their way across the gala, all the reporters swarm the elevator. Flash photography is blinding even from you guys because the gold suit is reflecting the the flashes of the cameras back at you. Really eye hurting. But they're making their way out of the elevator, and as the bodyguard gets closer, Nox, you were the only person here who would know this guy. Because, well, actually, you're quite familiar with him after you take a look at him. This is your rival. Mr. Clinton is his last name, but he goes by Zen.
I had a feeling.
And you know him to be an artificial life security enforcer. AKA, professional kneecapper, basically. A repo man for artificial life. He's the guy they send out to forcibly repossess bionic implants that people cannot afford to maintain the payments on, basically, because you can lease bionics, by the way. I don't know if you know that or not, but you can. Certain ones, anyway. So you recognize this guy as your rival. He doesn't seem to notice you, and if he does, he doesn't react, because he just walks in a straight line from the elevator all the way down the middle of the room up to the stage with the same kind of podium that was at the first gala, where a few executives are kind of walking around handling the admin of the party. And him and his client, if you will, the man in the gold suit, stroll past all of you. You can all make me perception checks at disadvantage, if you want, to try to
All right.
get an idea of who the man in the gold suit is, because he is currently being blocked by reporters and the flashing camera lights and just the amount of bodies in the room and the bodyguard kind of blocking him and stuff.
10 and an 8.
Okay.
So
Better
we're all
not be
doing this?
Flavius.
What was that, Kyle?
So we're all doing this?
If you want, you don't have to.
I got a 6. You said disadvantage?
Yeah.
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 2 5s.
Okay, you all
Lowest.
pass. So as he kind of walks past, you all spot this incredibly large, not large, but well-built, well-muscled, gold suit wearing, gold shoe trotting, incredibly confident looking guy, young looking guy, very well built, unnaturally handsome. It's definitely Flavius. For sure. It is good
Oh
old
my
Flavius
God.
Marinius.
Fuck.
My God. Oh, dude. My favorite
At this
cult
point, I
leader.
kind of just like hide my face.
And
Man, what do you
you
know?
guys can see Flavius, and as he walks past you guys, you get the feeling that he sees you all. He just doesn't react, basically, or he at least knows that some of you are there because he's psychic. But
I
he
mean,
doesn't react.
you know what? Screw it. He knows I'm here. Whatever. I'm here. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm here.
him and his
What of it,
bodyguard
Flavius?
walk to the all the way up, right up to the stage, and one of the guards, the bouncer for the party, steps in front of the big guy, Knox's rival, and is like, "Sir, who are you? You can't go out on the stage." And the guy just straight up grabs the bouncer by the throat with his giant bionic arms that are probably as big as like Barry's torso. Like they're humongous. And Clinton just picks this bouncer up by the throat, hoists him a couple feet into the air, and just like turns like 180 degrees and sits him back down, basically behind him. And Flavius strolls on stage to this resounding applause of everybody in the room, minus you guys and the bouncer who was just assaulted. So yeah, he strolls on stage with this grand wave, his whole arm, these huge strides. His golden suit is twinkling and glittering like the night sky, but it's gold. He rolls up
really
to the
quick.
podium. Yeah, sure.
Really quick. I'm gonna sub-vocal to everybody in the group. Be ready to to get out of here at a moment's notice.
I go, why?
That is Flavius.
I go, I know.
Yeah.
What about it?
Chances are he knows we're here. So let's just play it by ear, but keep
Surely
on.
Flavius isn't going to cause a ruckus and do anything bad.
Either that or he's gonna put a bounty on us.
I don't know
Or,
why.
well, our
We do
racing
not.
team.
What did our racing team do to him?
Exist.
Blew up his penthouse?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You mean one person blew up his penthouse?
Well,
God.
either way.
Guilt by association.
Either you guys can or don't, but I'm going to be ready to leave with my specified target at a moment's notice.
Bruh, you should. What are you talking about? This is the moment. Show your girl you got big cojones. Be like, I stole from that guy and got away with
Nah, you gotta leave the open here. I committed terrorism against that man.
Terrorism against
At
that
which
man.
point I turned to Donna and I'm like, all right, be ready to like run at a moment's notice.
I'm gonna turn to Faith and be like, "So how do you like the punch here?"
Okay, so Dinah looks to Cairo and she's like, "What? What do you mean? What's going on?"
I know him. I blew up his penthouse.
Her eyes go wide and she's
It's
like,
a long
"What?
story.
Oh
You
my
blew
god.
up his
It's a
pen?
long story.
Do
Ooh,
you know
hell
who
of a
that guy
start.
is?" She's like, "Do you know who he
Yes.
is? Why did you
I
blow up his
do.
penthouse? What do you?
Because it was a job.
Who paid you? Was it Dan Xanthorpe to pay you? Paid you to blow that guy's penthouse?"
Who did pay us so
No, it was
to
just some
steal
Randy's
him?
Hermes employees.
Some
Yeah, it
random
was
guy
one
trying
of
to get
Xanthorpe's
his
friends.
daughter back.
Look,
Yeah.
it was someone at Hermes that paid us to get his daughter
And
out,
then you
and I
ratted
didn't
out
like.
the business. Oh,
You know what? You know what?
Well,
I didn't give a
Donna
name.
Donna is an employee of Hermes now, so it's fine.
Exactly.
Oh,
And I said
I mean,
it's
it-
just some random guy. I didn't say it was an executive.
I mean, it might still breach, that NDA agreement, but NDA,
There is
but
no
it's
NDA
fine.
agreement. I didn't sign. I didn't sign a contract. There was no NDA.
You don't have to. Xanthorpe has your signature, Lamau.
No,
He is all
doesn't. I never
powerful.
signed anything.
Oh, you don't have to. Lamau, who
It's
makes the
Xanthorpe.
laws here? It's Xanthorpe.
Well, either way, I'm still gonna let Donna know. Like, hey, I'm pretty sure this guy hates me.
She's like,
So
why do you?
be
Why
ready
would you
to
take
run
a?
so you can preserve your life.
She's just like she's freaking out. She's like, why would what?
It's fine. It's fine.
What do you mean it's fine?
have
You just
said-
told me you were gonna have to leave here
Definitely
immediately.
not
He's gonna try to kill you. It's not fine. What do you?
No. He's gonna try and kill me, not you. But I'm saying, you leave.
That's not. But that's not. That's the definition of not fine. What do you mean?
It's fine.
It's not fine.
You're really bad at flirting with women, bro.
Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna make a charisma check at double disadvantage
Sure. Yeah, you do that.
Little
To
bully
try and-
comes in
to
front of
try
you.
and prove that it's totally fine.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
not fine.
I got a 7 on the double disadvantage.
All right. So she's like, all right. This is not over. All right. This conversation is not over. But
I'll
Fine.
explain it when we're back at the hotel.
she's like,
Have to what?
and she's just like she's like side eyeing people. She like takes out her phone and like texts her dad and is like, we might have a problem.
Oh my god.
You know, call the lawyers. Have them ready my will.
I text bonus, be like, do you have your
Get my
deal?
text bonus. Do you have my will updated yet, buddy? We might need it now. Just saying.
No, I
God.
text bonus like, do you have your deagle?
He's like, when don't I have my deagles? What kind of question is that?
Perfect. Perfect.
So then Knox is like, in the meantime, Knox is like, turns to Faith and he's like, the punch here is pretty good, huh? And she's
Yeah,
like,
I-
it's all right.
with alcohol and on. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, hey, you know that guy? He seems like pretty familiar.
Oh, do you point to Flavius?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna make a check for her actually.
Please tell me she failed.
No, she got a 9. And if you're curious, if she had rolled like a 10, I would have had her been a part of the cult, which would have been hilarious. But instead, she just knows him very well. So that's, she's like, oh, him? Yeah, I know Flavius. Him and I, well, I mean, do you not know who he is? You're like, no. Do you not know who he is? He's well, he moved to Chicago a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I heard about that. What was the reason again? I forget.
Apparently some horrible mercenaries blew up his penthouse.
Someone blew up his tent. He looks like such a nice guy. Who would ever do?
Yeah.
She's like, I know, who would ever harm a guy as pretty as that, you know? What awful terrorist would do such a terrible, terrible, terrible thing?
If I knew the guy who did that, oh, His cojones would be off right now.
She's like, I know. And you're like, and, the poor man.
This is not vocal too.
Bonus is just like cackling to himself in the back of the room. So it's Faith's like, poor Mr. Marinius, after they bombed his penthouse, they got him kicked out of Ryanstown because apparently, the spherical church, they didn't like that his penthouse got broken into, so they fired him and they kicked him out of the Tenacity Tower.
That's
Poor Mr. Marinius. As I see him, I suffer PTSD.
That's like throwing shit in his face too. You blow up his home and then you shit on his.
Flashback to when I got literally gibbed.
I wasn't there.
Oh my god, this is so good. Best encounter so far. I swear to God. So Faith's like, yeah, and I mean, I hear that she's trying his best to, pay back the families of the victims who died in the terrorist attack.
Oh my god. Those poor family. Who would ever do such a thing and disturb the peace like that?
Shut the fuck up and continue the story.
God.
Oh,
Man,
like-
only if he wasn't such a famous person, we would have maybe have a chance to get his autograph even.
She's like,
You
oh, I
know
bet I
what?
could probably.
You wanna
I could,
who's
so
reason-
you want his autograph?
Wait.
I could probably get his autograph for you.
You wanna know what? I have a really good person who's good at talking. Can you text? can you text your sister and tell her that Cairo needs to get an autograph for you? He's really good at talking.
Fuck up.
I'm dying. So she's like, oh, well, I could, I mean, I don't know him personally, but, I mean, just between you and me, I mean, I don't know if you're into this sort of thing, but some of his stimulants are top notch.
Oh, I bet. But you should text your sister about that and tell her to ask Cairo for a favor. He's really good at talking to people.
She's like, oh, if you think, I mean, do you think that Donna would appreciate getting like an autograph from him?
I mean, if you know him a lot, I think Donna wouldn't mind. I mean,
Meanwhile,
I'm pretty
explaining
sure.
to Donna how he literally gave me a psychic vision of me exploding.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be even more friend. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure Cairo got it. He has his way with people.
She's like, all right, well, if you think so, and then she takes out her phone and she texts her sister, and then
Oh god.
a second later, Donna leans over to you, Cairo, and she's like, oh, my sister asked if you wanted to do us a favor and get an autograph for Mr. Flavius after he's done with his speech.
Yeah, fine.
She's like, oh, really? I was just gonna say no.
Honestly.
The whole conversation was said over so vocal.
I'll do it. Fuck it.
Oh.
Whatever. I'll do
She's
it.
like, oh, really?
I'll do
That's great. I hear Flavius is
A
no,
terrible
never-
person.
Never mind. he just looks away from you, and he's like, "Oh no." And now we cut over to Bonus and Frank, like laughing at each other over this conversation going on, along with Xanthorpe. The three of them are whooping it up over there. So Flavius, he
Laugh it
marches
all up until I actually get exploded.
Yeah, bro. It's all fun and games till you get turned into chunky salsa.
Yeah.
So Flavius, he walks up to
Episode 30 something, the one where Cairo dies.
again, the one where Cairo dies again, but also to Flavius, top tier. So he walks up to the podium, and the whole room is a buzz with activity as the reporters rush to the front of the stage, and they're shoving microphones in his face, and the bodyguard is kind of like standing next to him and stuff. Knox, do mention the fact that you know that guy to anybody, or do you just keep that to yourself?
Oh, who the big guy?
Yeah.
Uh, I think I'll talk about it. I'll be like, "Hey, do you guys know that bodyguard? He looks really familiar."
Oh God.
I'm like, no.
No.
Do you?
Bonus doesn't either.
Yeah. Do you?
Hmm. It's like on like the tip of my tongue. His face kind of looks familiar. Everything else, no.
Knox, I just want to say one deceptor to another. You're terrible at being coy.
You
Bonus is
are
like,
a terrible liar.
You are a terrible liar.
Oh, and that's because I'm doing it on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. You're bad at it.
Stick to your day job.
Being bad at being purposely, huh?
Yes.
Whatever.
Don't
But
ask
yeah,
questions. Just
he,
yes.
he's a pretty cool dude. I think from I remember him. I think we left on good terms too. I kind of forget.
What happened?
Flashback to you guys like getting into a brawl in the middle of the street or something like that. Yeah, good turn.
Ah,
The reason you got the cyber arm is because he literally blew your arm off.
LMAO. That was no. It was a wee long time ago, and
A wee long time ago.
yeah,
Yes.
I think what like I really forget how long it would be in human years because all the converting. But regardless, though, uh,
Like
it,
45.
I don't know. It was pretty chill.
it'd be probably a few years at this point, but not a lot.
I was working at my first job. Don't worry about where it was. I forgot. I forgot the name. Out of
Artificial
character.
life.
Artificial light. That's right. Something with artificial in it. Something like that. I got like a promotion. He got really pissed. I think it was because he was a guy. I forget. Regardless, though, he got really pissed. I got the promotion. And we had an argument about it. I got some cybernetics with it too. And ever since, he was like, you know what? Screw you, Knox. I'm done with this shit. I'm gonna show how better I am than you. And honestly, I think we left on some good terms.
Sounds
He
like
got
the best of friends there.
mad. He took his promotion. Is he 12 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, your rival's a child?
I know. I'm telling you, artificial life gets them young. I was just
That's some original Dragon Ball Z Broly type shit right there.
Oh
I
my
was-
god.
I was just doing my job, and he's like,
That's
"I'm the
some
child
pissed
prodigy."
because Goku was crying type shit right there.
I'm telling you,
Your rival's a child?
child prodigy. What can I say?
Oh my god. Oh, I need an inhaler. I'm literally dying right now. Oh my god.
Said you wanted more RP, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, I knew. That's why I said this, because I knew that I was gonna pull this trap card on you guys today, and I was gonna have a whale of a time. And you know what? I wasn't wrong. So yeah. So you guys are talking about that situation. Bonus is like, wow, Nox, seems like you have always been a real friendly person, haven't you?
Oh, I really am. It's wonderful.
Like,
I'm
but
tired
I
of
didn't
this
know
abuse.
you made friends with kids. It's kind of weird.
Oh no, I
Pedophile.
don't. We're just coworkers.
He's like, yes, I'm sure. Well, I mean, seeing as you treat Xanthorpe, your version of coworker is kind of loose.
Oh no, he's a different type of coworker.
Sure.
He's a coworker with like a DA
Asterisk?
double DY with money signs.
You can feel Bonus shaking his head right now. You can't see it. Yeah. So Flavius at the podium, and the reporters are all up in his face, and he's like, "Please, silence. and literally everybody in the room shuts up immediately. It's kind of, back to being weird Flavius experiences. It's trending on Twitter. That sounds like a sexual assault case name, to be honest. I'm gonna stop. So Flavius, tells everybody to shut up, and they do. And he's like, greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the Manifest Destiny Racing Royale. For those of you who are unfamiliar with who I am, what are you doing? Am I right? And everybody laughs, except for Oid.
Bro, so do I. That was a great joke. Hilarious.
Oh, dude,
I'm not gonna laugh.
I'm
You have no
laughing.
choice.
That was great. That comedy, top tier.
All right. I mean, Nox can try to resist the psychic stuff if you want.
Can I not?
No, that's the thing. You can't rescue. You
For
can't.
fuck's sake.
You can't defend yourself. And Oid's immune, so there's
I
that.
hate this character.
Lamau. I love him, so he's not going anywhere. So yes, Flavius, he's like, but in all seriousness, I of course am Flavius Marinius, a new entrepreneur, philanthropist, billionaire playboy, to the fine city of Chicago. And in my recent time spent here, it's come to my attention that there are some issues facing the city right now, and I figure what better way to spur some support for some important causes than do some good for charity, give back to the community. And so I'm here today on behalf of myself and the Children of Joy, my organization. And I am here to announce officially that after many discussions and negotiations with the organizers of the MDRR, I am to enter the competition as a new racer. He's like, and, please hold your applause. I know this may come as a shock. The MDRR is notoriously dangerous, but I assure you my team has the best intentions in mind, and we have taken all of these safety precautions we possibly can to ensure that no harm will befall me if I am to get into an accident. But as we all know, I can do no wrong. And the entire crowd claps, except for Oid.
Actually, wait, what is it to resist? I want to see if I can add
I
this.
mean, I'll clap
Oh, okay, yeah, you'll clap.
just to maintain appearances.
It is a willpower check to resist.
While he's saying this, I'm gonna text Donna and I'm gonna text her. He's gonna cheat.
Donna will text back, everybody cheats, Lamau?
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'll text her back and be like, he's psychic.
I got a 7, but I will clap for sure, bro. This Flavius guy, I don't know what it is about him. Pretty cool, dude.
Okay, so yeah, you do manage to resist the psychic intrusion in your mind that puts the suggestion in your head to clap, and you feel it, but you don't, you aren't compelled to do it, but you still do it anyway because you're like, I'll do it.
Then how was I able to do it at the tower?
Because you were very consciously making an effort to resist it, and you were very far away.
And I can't do that here?
Thing too. Distance plays an important part. You guys are much closer than you were last time, because, well, you guys are important now. you're with Xanthorpe, who's an important man. Just Flavius is like, I am entering into the competition as a new racer. I am, in terms of a corporate sponsor, I will be racing in a vehicle custom made for me by the best engineers that my money can buy, and I fully expect to take the competition by storm. And he's like, so please, I will be here for the remainder of the event. If you have any questions or concerns, I will answer them then and there. In the meantime, please continue feasting, partying, talking. I'll be around, as well, mingling. And of course, if anyone has any particular requests for any extra entertainment of either the substance or the human variety, please speak to me or my assistant here, and we can organize that right away. And the reporters are all erupts into questions, and Flavius, oh my god, you're so cool. One guy begins weeping uncontrollably. Another guy passes out. Faith is like freaking out too. She's like, "Yeah, Flavius, what a cool dude."
Honestly, I'm gonna burst into tears.
Okay. Once again, Oid is literally a cultist, just choosing to be a cultist at this point. Xanth looks at you, Oid, and is like kind of weirded out, but he's too under the effects of the mind control right now to really pay attention to you anyway, so he doesn't care. So Flavius walks off stage. The reporters instantly hound him, and the event continues uninterrupted. That being said, all that happening, anything anybody wants to do now or discuss now?
Waiting for Cairo to get that autograph.
I'm not doing it.
Wow, you're not gonna help out a bro?
Wow.
For shame, for shame.
Shut.
Gonna
Shut.
cower it out there, buddy boy.
Shut.
I mean, honestly, an autograph from Flavius would be a great gift
I
for
have
your
been
date.
consistently fucked over regarding this character. Okay?
What do you mean, bro?
I will say, yes, bombing his penthouse, that was my doing. Absolutely. I did it because I wanted to. 100%.
So get his autograph, bro.
Fine. Yeah, I will.
Roll credit.
Yeah, right. And that's when the gala room explodes. That was his actual plan all
Yeah.
along.
Yeah.
Ultimate
Yeah.
payback.
Exactly.
Oh God.
All right then.
Cool. So you walk up to the crowd of reporters, and you get in line. And I'll say that like you get like a napkin or something for him to autograph. And eventually you get to the front of the line. And the person in front of you moves aside, and do you have your mask up still at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So you step up to Flavius, and he kind of is like, busy, like talking to somebody, and turns around, and he sees you, and you expect him to, like, I don't know, evaporate you or something like that with his mind powers, but instead he kind of, like, oh my god, I'm literally dying over here. Flavius is assaulting my heart. So he looks at you, he sees you, and he kind of gives you a nice warm smile. He's like, "Oh, good evening, sir. What can I do for you?"
And then I'll flip my helmet up, and I'll be like, I just need an autograph for someone I know.
I was like, "Oh, of course." And then he kind of like takes a napkin, and he kind of removes like an incredibly like expensive, like gold-plated, diamond-encrusted like
Does
pen.
he see me without my mask on?
Yeah, he does, and he definitely recognizes you because you know that he knows who you are. He's in your house, like
Good.
he knows who
Good.
you are.
Good to
He
know.
knows where you live.
Yeah.
I was in his house, and I
You
blew
were.
it up last time I saw him.
Yes, you
So
did
you
blow it
know
up.
what? Yeah, good. Let him know who I am.
So he looks at you and he smiles very warmly and takes a napkin from you. And like, and who should I make this out to?
Honestly, just Faith. Just Faith at this point.
And he's like, ah,
Oh, dude, you should
actually,
be
I'm
like
gonna
Faith, you know?
cool. He's like, oh, that wouldn't happen to be Faith Fuel, would it?
Yeah. You might want to do one under that for Donna.
Like, oh, of course, the sisters. I've met Faith at a few events in the past, and he quick writes something in like the most immaculate handwriting you've ever seen in your life. Like, it's a work of like, if Mozart had handwriting that wasn't garbage and was like his music but handwriting, it's this. And he scribbles this message out on the napkin with an incredibly expensive pen, and he puts the pen back in his pocket, hands you the napkin, and when you go to take it from him, he kind of leans in, and he's like, "It's a pleasure to see you again, Cairo." And then he lets the napkin go. And he's like, "All right, have a great evening, sir. And of course, if you have any, other requests or, looking to purchase anything from my organization, feel free to speak to my assistant."
I'm not even gonna say anything back.
Cool. So then you walk away, and I assume you give the autograph to Donna then.
Yeah, sure.
And she takes it. She's like, "Oh, wow, this is super cool. I mean, now that you've told me what you and Flavius were involved in the past, I don't quite value it as much, but I'm sure my sister will probably freak out about this. So, she's not met him in person before, so it's
Yeah, probably.
it'll be a big deal for her at the very least. So she walks over to Faith, and she gives it to Faith, and Faith freaks out, begins crying, as you do, and she runs over and she thanks Cairo profusely, and then she thanks Donna profusely, and then she thanks Nox a couple times for giving her the idea of asking Cairo to ask Flavius for an autograph.
Hey,
And then
I told you he has his way with people.
she's like, "Oh, well, apparently, I knew you guys were important folks, but didn't think you were on Flavius's level, And then the rest of the evening goes by relatively without incident, except for Oid. You're following Xanthrop around, and after Flavius's speech, Xanthrop turns to you and he's like, "Isn't that the guy that I had you guys kidnap that woman from?"
And I'll go, you know it. The guy whose penthouse tower blew up.
I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that. I'm sure it'll be fine."
Small.
He's like, "I mean, he never saw you guys, did he?"
No, but he definitely knows who Cairo is.
I'm like, "Oh."
Definitely.
I'm like, "Well, from what I've heard about Mr. Marinius, if he wanted to Cairo dead, Cairo would be dead. So, I assume there aren't any more negative feelings being harbored there, at the very least.
Sure.
I hope." And then he promptly orders another drink to drown out his anxiety. And then also, as it turns to you, Oid, again, and he's like, "Did you hear that during his speech, though? It sounded like he was trying to encroach on your territory, trying to sell some product to the party goers."
I know, right? I'm gonna have to do some big sales.
Are you gonna, talk to him about that? Get him to back off or whatever, or?
You should say, "Hey, want some drugs together?"
You should try and sell drugs to him.
Yes, they're trying to sell him some space cocaine. Oh, bro,
No,
give
but
him
I'm
blood
just
loss.
gonna-
See what happens.
Change my marketing strategy, because
Launch a
I
needle at
know the kind of stuff that Children of Joy produce, right?
You know a couple of their products from when you guys stole some, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go off of that. I'm gonna say did Mr. Flavius tell you about XYZ? Because I have ABC and it's clinically proven to be 7,000 times more deadly for your health.
They're the suicide pills, sick. I mean, it's chomp down on some nice cyanide right there, instantly die.
Yes, I'm literally just selling people ricin.
Sometimes "Oh, well, that's a pretty...
what? Ricin gets the job done.
It does. Maybe we should try that on
If
Flavius,
only
see
we
what
had
happens.
used ricin.
Yeah, see, that would kill Flavius. But yeah, so it's "Oh, well, that probably would work. Yeah, try to compete with Flavius. I mean, we're not going to be here for much longer, and I doubt Flavius is gonna have like an army of narcotic trucks follow him around the country. That would be ludicrous. He says,
Are we
Really
all in the
would be,
same
yeah.
area at this point? Dakota?
What?
Are we all in the same area at this point?
You can be if you want to.
I mean, hey, you know what? It's whatever. I'm just drinking and trying to enjoy the rest of the party at this point.
I think
Cool.
I'll like go to Faith and it'll be like, you know, I don't eat much at these parties.
She kind of like gives you a weird, like, cocked eyebrow glance, and she's like, "Okay, you. Does that mean you want to go have something to eat? You can. I'm not, I'm not your boss."
No, it's just strange, it's almost like I only drink liquids.
She is
And
incredibly confused.
only I
Are you
swear.
saying this over sub vocals too?
No,
Like, can we hear you?
no, only to Faith. No, turn I'll be like,
I
no,
don't
I'm
think
not
I've eaten
hungry.
once in the
just
past 2 weeks.
saying. Yeah. No, I think we have. Be like, no, I just want to say it.
And she's like, I.
And
Oh,
I turn I'm like, you want me to get you some?
and she's like, what? Food? You mean?
Alcohol, food. Sure, yeah.
She's like, yeah, sure. Get me like. Oh God, what would she want? What's her personality? Well, she's kind of like, she would probably say, get her a glass of like scotch.
A glass of scotch. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure, why
she's
not?
a
I
hard
could do that.
drinker.
Hard drinker? Damn, I know what to do to put her to bed.
Ricin.
I'll probably also ask Donna, like, if she wants anything to drink from the bar.
She's like, yeah. How about
Your dick.
Fair enough.
how? Well, she's a mechanic. What's a mechanic type drink?
Motor oil?
Beer.
An edible,
Beer.
mechanic type drink. Yes, I would like
Crude
engine
oil.
grease. Yeah.
I mean,
Vegetable oil, raw vegetable oil.
moonshine, because you can power a motor off of moonshine.
Well, in that case, probably should be like maybe like some vodka, highest ethanol content you can possibly get me.
Everclear.
Yeah, just straight up Everclear.
Ever clearer.
Oh God, it's just straight up rubbing alcohol.
It is 100%
100%.
isopropyl.
Yeah, it'll just straight up burn a hole in your esophagus if you try to drink any. Like acid.
I mean, yeah, sure, vodka it is. I will then in turn bring, like, a platter of vodka, like, just a bottle, and
Okay.
2 shot glasses.
Okay. Yeah, so you go up to the bar and you see, Bonus, Frank, Oid, Xanthorpe at various places along the bar. And you order your drinks, and you bring them back. She's like, "Oh, 2 shot glasses, all right. I guess you feel like partying, hmm?"
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, I do.
He wasn't planning for it, but yeah.
I was not planning on doing anything of the sort, but yeah, you're right.
And she takes the cork out of the vodka bottle and she pours 2 shot glasses and she holds one up, up the table. She's like, "Well, since you're feeling in the partying mood and I don't know better to do, let's say we raise his toast to the man who'd be doing this for us if he were here, Barry Bullet.
Cheers.
And she promptly downs the shot of vodka.
I'll do the same.
Nice. Then we cut to Bonus and Frank, who are having discussions about stock prices or something like that. very, very boring, bland stuff. Neither of
I
them
told
caring.
them I wanted 500 shares at $50 stock, but they just didn't make it happen for me, so I had to split their heads open.
yeah. Frank's like,
Very
oh well, I
bonus
talked to my
like.
accountant and they told me to invest in LSSI, and Frank's like, no. But Bonus is like, do not invest in LSSI right now. Barry is there right now, okay? Do not give them any of your money. Like, I remember back when I used to not do this job, and he kind of like looks around for a minute, and he's like, I had to talk to some of my buddies, talking about this sort of thing, and we decided to put a bunch of our money for that quarter into what was it? I think it was into Dream, that the luxury company, and I was the leader of this little venture capitalist fund basically, and I organized this deal, and then going through, and then at the end of the next quarter, we got our checks. They sent us our profits, and the checks bounced. So of course I had to go there, and I had to call the bank, and I had to go talk to the lawyers, and I had to get all that sorted out. And long story short was, it turned out that the executive that I had made that deal with was embezzling that money from the company to himself. So of course I tell my buddies, they're like, I'll talk to the to the KPD, I'll talk to Dream. I'm like, no, I got this. So I went down to my nearest shady bar. I paid 100,000 collars for the 5 best hitmen in that building, and they killed them all. And then he cracks up laughing, and Frank is staring at him like, what? That is not funny, you psychopath. And Bonus is like, I had to be there. They were begging for their lives. We threw one of them off the roof of the Dream Incorporated HQ.
Why is he from Boston all of a sudden?
I don't know. I get Italian when I talk in a deep voice. What can I say?
Italian.
And he's like, we threw one of them off of the roof of the building, and the Doppler effect. When they a fast thing moves quickly past you. Yeah, it's like that. I was in the stairwell, and I heard that effect through the wall of the stair. It was great. Good laugh that did, me and my friends. We didn't get the money because of course we killed the guy. So the KPD locked his funds. So I ended up having to bribe some officials to get that out of the out of the confiscated funding bank account. But yeah, long story short, don't trust executives, he says, working for an executive. And Frank is like, whatever, dude. You're crazy. So yeah, the rest of the gala goes by uneventfully, more or less. Flavius makes his rounds to some people. Only Oid probably would ever really see him again when he talks to Xanthorpe, and him and Xanthorpe have a very passive-aggressive conversation, and then they separate. And then at the end of the evening, end of the party, Flavius makes a second speech, and he's like, I'm here to say that I give my full and entire support to the MDRR. I fully endorse their operations in Chicago and in the Midwest, yada yada yada. He gives his basically, in when a crime boss has to give permission to a mom and pop shop to operate. It kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that. Flavius is basically the MDR had to get his permission to operate here, which is kind of scary for you guys, but whatever. And then he's like, have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow with the races. I'll be there. You're like, oh, and on top of, as part of the agreement, any money that I make from my winnings for the race will go to charity of my choice and of the choices of my, legal team. And in addition, because I'm starting into the race late, I will be entering the race starting in the last position. So I will have to work my way all the way up from place 256th to first over the course of the next 3 legs of the race. Well, 4 legs of the race. And the crowd is like, oh my god, what a great sportsman, OMG. More crying, more passing out, more, I don't know, whatever, freakouts. Yeah, one man has a heart attack. And then the party ends, and you are all allowed to leave and head back to your apartments. Anything final before we conclude this day?
Can I take the bottle of vodka with me?
Sure. Xanthorpe will very gladly pay for that.
Sick nasty, I'm taking the bottle of vodka with me.
Okay, you do so. Anything else?
Nope.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, as
Episode
you guys...
30-something, Cairo becomes an alcoholic.
Cairo was driven into alcoholism. Great. So you guys leave the gala. You guys walk across the compound back to your hotel rooms. You guys see that there is like a whole like limousine of beautiful young women, all of whom are dressed quite provocatively, along with some guys who are also dressed quite provocatively. This huge limousine arrives, full of these definitely prostitutes. As you guys walk in, they all walk in with you, and they're all kind of like flirting with you. Some of them are already high or drunk. They all walk up to the front desk, and the one girl in front is like, "Oh, we're here for Flavius." And the concierge is like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." He's like, "Yeah, go to the penthouse suite." And Xanthorpe stops mid-stride, and he's like, "Huh? What was that?" And the concierge is like, what do you mean, sir?" And Xanthorpe's like, "Did you say that Flavius was in the penthouse suite?" And concierge is like, "Yes, sir. He bought it out earlier this morning." And Xanthorpe's like, "I reserved that like 6 months in advance. I paid up front." And the concierge is like, "Sorry, sir. Mr. Marinius simply paid more." And you can all see like
I'll turn to Xanthorpe.
the vein in his temple is full like bulging right
and
now.
I'll turn to Xanthorpe and be like, yeah. Not such a good guy now, is he?
He's like, and he turns to the concierge. He's like, "How much did Mr. Marinius pay for the suite?" And the concierge is like, "1 moment, sir."
Yes.
And he, and like, according to this, he paid, what's a stupidly high number? He paid 500,000 collars for the penthouse suite. And Xanthorpe's like, and he turns to all of you. He turns to all of you, and he looks at all of you, and Bonus is just nodding with a thumbs up, and he's like, "Yeah, do it." And he's like,
Me
like, "All right,
being
fine."
slightly inebriated, I'll be like, you
I'll go
could
to
just
him.
blow it up. It worked last time.
We have experience with these matters.
Experience. For the meager fee of 20,000 collars per person, Mr. Xanthorpe, we'll gladly blow up this hotel penthouse to get back at Flavius.
This time with no witnesses.
You can, for a second,
Even agree to it.
for a second, Xanthorpe considers this. He's like, wouldn't it be worth it? And he's like, well, it would be cheaper
I
than.
am at the same moment, I'm trying to hold up myself and Donna.
Yeah.
I turn to him and I go, I think you should not. Last time that happened, a lot of bad things happened.
Hey, you know what? You're not the one who placed those charges. You didn't see yourself explode.
Isn't
You're
Thorpe's
right.
like, well, it would probably be cheaper to have my favorite group of employees exact revenge on my behalf. I think I need to be the bigger man here. And simply,
buy it out from under him.
Yeah, he's like, and he turns to the concierge, and he leans his elbow all the way over the counter, and he's like, "Mr. Concierge, sir," and the concierge's like, "Yes, Mr. Xanthorpe," and Xanthorpe's like, and he reaches into his jacket, and he pulls out a solid gold credit card, and he, with two fingers, and he lazily hands it over to the concierge, and he's like, "Charge it for $2 million."
I'm gonna drunkenly try and pat Xanthorpe on the shoulder and be like, should tell him if he tries to buy out the room, have them charge you for another $1 million.
And it's like, that's a great idea.
That way you can't get kicked out of the room.
Like that's a like, you do have some good ideas every now and then, Mr. Zetsubo. You are very correct. And he turns to the concierge and is like, put $10 million on my tab. And then he just promptly walks away, like, into the elevator, leaving his credit card is gone. He just walks up.
I
Like,
think I grabbed my own chest at that.
As he walks away, I'm like,
yeah. Don is also like, yeah.
I think I grabbed my own.
Yeah,
chest
fuck
at
that guy.
I think I turned to Faith and be like, and you're gonna be driving? I pat her on the shoulder. I'm like, oh, don't die.
Honestly, Donna or Faith is probably the safest driver we can get right now.
Probably. I mean, Barry will be
What?
well. Barry should be healthy for the race tomorrow, assuming that he hasn't like.
But do we want to put him in right away?
Well, that's up to Xanthorpe.
That is true.
But yeah, so this was like tosses his money around, and you guys go to bed. You guys wake up. It is the morning of the second leg of the race. You guys get yourselves ready. Nothing happens overnight. No foul play. Nothing of the sort. No, not even like room service, something like that. You all go downstairs, and you all get downstairs. And Jesus Christ, I am Italian. You see Xanthorpe pacing back and forth in the lobby of the hotel. And he's talking very angrily at someone. I have a third mosquito bite, son of a bitch.
I think I immediately guessed. I'm like, you guys think he's talking to his accountant that froze his funds?
Yeah. Mr.
Either
Xanthorpe,
that or he
you've,
got kicked out of the room again.
Overcharged your account. So he's yelling at somebody over the phone. He's like, "What do you mean? How did he get the license that fast? What do you? What? This? Oh my god, sir! This is despicable. This is ridiculous." And he sees you all, and he's like, "This is not over." And he hangs up. And he's like, "This is what I get for taking advice from you people, huh? This is what happens."
What happened?
I turned to him. I turned. I'm like, this is what you get for listening to a drunk Cairo.
Shut the fuck up! It was a good idea.
I told you not to.
He's like, do you want to know what I'm dealing with right now?
What are you dealing with right now?
It's better if I showed you. And he points to the front door of the building.
Okay, I look at the front door of the building.
Well, he like gestures for you all to walk out with him, basically.
Okay.
Okay, I look at the front door of the building.
And he walks out, and you all follow him. And you go outside, and you see that across the street, there is a small army of construction workers and like construction vehicles in a lot that was not empty last night. In its place, is a large, like probably like 50-story skyscraper, uh, in in massive letters. This huge sign near the top of the building. It says Joy Towers.
And why are you mad about this?
He's like, because rather than buying out the suite from me, Flavius bought the plot of land across the street and is building his own hotel.
Okay, so let him.
Wait, and he did what? Sorry, I changed my device. He did what?
He bought the plot of land across the street and is building his own hotel.
I turned to him like,
You
I turned to him and go, are you mad because you couldn't flex that hard on him?
He's like, yes, what do you think I'm mad about? Because he... He's like,
so
I
at the
can't
next
outrun
stage
up
of the
this.
race, just flex harder.
I pat him on the shoulder. I pat him on the shoulder and I go, Xanthorpe, look, listen. All he's doing is trying to get into your head. Remember, you're at a really high position in Hermes, and look. All he did was buy a plot of land, started another cult, probably gonna have to save someone else's daughter again because she got shit faced and now is getting butt fucked by Flavius. All right, not our problem. Okay, just be glad that you still have the funds to buy this hotel.
Xanthorpe returns to you, and he's like, takes a very deep breath, a long sigh, and he's like, "You're right. You're right. I don't know why
I'll
I'm so."
turn to him and be like, honestly, just be glad he didn't kill you.
He's like, "Well, you guys are right. I'm overreacting." And he takes out his phone and he calls somebody, and somebody picks up, and he goes, "Yeah, it's me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, give Barry the full nanite treatment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want him on the track by this morning. 2 hours tops. Yes, I'll pay the full. What do you think we're gonna pay? Yes, the full amount. Yes, the full treatment. I just said that. Great, thank you."
I'll look to Donna and be like, did he just say the full nanite treatment?
Donna is visibly scared.
I think, personally, I would rub my forehead. I'm like, that motherfucker dropped the stocks and now.
There's like, well, if I can't piss farther than Flavius can in his own city, then I will beat him in the race. And if that means blowing millions of collars, upgrading upgrading Barry, then I will. Even if it's like, oh, that
You're
reminds me.
worried about...
And he pulls out his phone again, and he gets on the phone with somebody else. He's like, yeah, Frank, it's me. Yeah. Are you with the crew? Great. Did you get that box I sent you? Yes, the auto surgeon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want you to put it in Barry's car. No, he doesn't know about it, but who doesn't need to know about it? All right, he won't even feel it. He'll be so blasted, he won't even recognize he's being cut open. It's fine. Yeah. You get the spare kidneys?
Wait.
Great. And the blood transfusion stuff? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great. Did you get the other shipment of steer? Fantastic. All right, I'll be there shortly. And he hangs up. He puts the phone back in his pocket. Like, all right, sorry about that. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, I think instead of upgrading Barry, we should probably be focused on upgrading the car.
I'm like, oh, well, I'm a step ahead of you, my friend. I just did. I'm putting an auto surgeon in there.
I think you meant like the
referring
engine
to
and
the
the
engine.
guns and all that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, hey.
Yeah, we can do that at the next one.
Yeah, we got plenty of time for that stuff. But I figure, this way, I can supercharge Barry's dosages of steer and other narcotics. And then, when his kidney gives out halfway through, the car will replace his kidney en route.
I give him a high five.
I'm going to look to Donna very concerned.
Yeah, Donna is kind of like, leans over to you, and she's like, "What? Huh?"
Then I turn to Faith.
know.
I turn to Faith. I'm like, you see that?
She's like,
That.
"Yeah."
That's what money gets you. And then I turn to her. I'm like, you also know, that's what getting addicted to drugs gets you.
No, I'll rub the bridge of my nose and I'll look to Xanthor and I'll be like, you know what? As long as we beat Flavius, I don't care.
Like, oh, that is my
And
singular
I
goal.
personally turn to Cairo and the rest of them like, yeah, but I want the money.
Xanthor's like, well, you will get the money if we beat
Us
Flavius.
protecting these people is already in the bag. We're already getting paid for that. As long as we can beat Flavius,
And
I
then
don't care.
I put my arm on Xanthor. I'm like, Xanthor, I want you to look at this sky and tell me, how deep is Flavius in your head right now? Did you wake up thinking about him today? Because I didn't. He's
What's up?
already ahead of you because you're trying that.
He's like, no, like I didn't wake up thinking of Flavius. I woke up, surrounded by sexually active and beautiful women, supercharged on all kinds of pleasure stimulants. No, I didn't buy them from Flavius. I'm not an idiot, okay? And I woke up in a cushy bed with silk sheets, nice, incredibly soft cushions, massage like receptors in there, all kinds of amazing, pleasurable sensations in the morning. And I woke up, and the first thing that I thought of was the massive bus full of money that I'm going to make from this race.
That's what I
I'll
want to
I'll turn to Donna and like whisper to her, all I woke up with this morning was a headache and a hangover.
And it's going to Xanthor and be like, that's right. You think about winning the race and beating Flavius. Because remember, you're the underdog. You didn't want to do cheating. If you still want to hold that up, that's up to you. But remember, you got a lot of money riding on first place.
It's like,
Just saying.
that's a good point. Before I became furious, learning that Flavius had purchased a plot of land across the street from the racing hotel, my not well, you would call him a bookie, but he's my accountant. He called me up, and he told me that Barry's little incident at the VR den increased our odds, our betting odds, from I think it was like 50 to 1 I had before to like 200 to 1. So that means even more money if we win.
You're big cojones. You're gonna have huge fat.
He's like, oh yes, and at this point I'm going to need it to recompense the amount of money I just dropped on that hotel room.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, Xanthorpe, you'll make it back in like a day.
Like, well, you're yeah, that's right. I mean, I've already made it back just sitting here talking to you guys, but it isn't the point, you know? It's on principle.
Exactly.
It's on principle.
Exactly.
You know, Flavius, he can bully me around. He can buy out my sweep from underneath my nose. That doesn't fly here, all right? I mean, look.
It's like taking off the white glove and slapping you with it.
Yeah, and he turns to all of you, and he's like, you guys know, I killed those kids because they smashed up my car.
That is true. That is true.
And-
Isn't that like one of the first
God,
jobs that he had?
It is the first job, yeah. And yeah, and Knox did not know about that job. Neither did Donna or Faith. So he's just like, yeah, I killed those kids, and everybody's like, huh? Like,
I
what?
think whatever coffee I walked out with, I was gonna go.
I'll chuckle like, yeah, good times, good times.
It
Then I
was
went
good
straight
times.
to
They
Xanthorpe, and I
disrespected
went,
me,
"You
and
didn't?"
they got what they paid for.
I think I'm gonna like show face and be like, not hard react, but internally I'm like, I wonder how much money I would have made for that job.
I think it was only like 5,000 collars.
I think it was like 7 or 10 cars, 10,000 a piece, something like that. It wasn't that much money. It was pretty relatively simple.
Something like that. But when we were just starting out, that was a lot of money.
Yes, that was a lot of money. That was
I
the
think
first
that
job
was
you
the
guys did
highest
for him.
paying job that we
had gotten
got
at that point.
at that point.
Yeah, because he was like the first executive that willing to hire you guys. So
And
he's
now
like, yeah, I
look,
killed those
we've got him
kids.
in our pocket.
He's like, yeah, he's like, they expected me. They trashed my car. They, boasted about it, bragged about it on the street. So you know what? I had you guys kidnap them. I broke their kneecaps. All right. I removed their fingers with pliers.
Honestly,
All right.
the relationship between our group and Xanthorpe is we raise him through the ranks, and he raises us through the ranks.
Yes, that's the
I
idea.
think at this point I'm gonna turn to Faith and I'd be like, you'll be fine.
He's like, and I know that I can't pull Flavius's fingers off with a wrench like I could those kids. But man, if I could though, could you imagine? Anyway, if I can't do that, the next best thing, winning this race. And he turns to Donna and Faith, and he's like, so I need you two to be on your A games. And he sees that Donna is like hungover, so he reaches into his pocket, and he presses himself down. He's like, tits. And he reaches over, and he like just like fondles Oid for a second, takes a vial of cocaine out of Oid's pocket, and just hands it to Donna. It's like, take these, all right? They'll keep you going through the race, all right? Trust me. I would know.
I'll look at Donna and be like, it's best you don't know where that's been.
It was an Oid. What do you mean you don't know where that's been?
I wouldn't trust what Oid's selling. You may become addicted within like 1 use.
I'm like, what are you talking about? You've done fun.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What? Oid's pumped you full of drugs several times at this point. And you've
the only time he pumped me full of anything was when I went into the fight.
Sick.
It was the two fights against Cromwell.
No, there was only one.
No,
Well, it was the original one, and there was like the remixed one.
Yeah, the original one that got retconned.
Yeah, they got a little bit retconned out. Yeah.
So twice.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so
Once off the record.
Yes, sometimes like, look, all right, trust me, Mr. Bean here, he knows his stuff. All right, he gets his product from me mostly, so I mean, I took some before I came downstairs. Donna's
I
like,
turned to him. I'm like, was
Sure.
it on one of their breasts?
I'm like, oh, you bet.
I'll give him another high five.
They're like, I'm telling you, Knox, you gotta come upstairs with me one time. It'll be a wild party for sure.
I mean, Nox at this point is just a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And then Xantho turns to Bonus. He's like, you too, Bonus. I think you have a lot of fun. And Bonus just like reaches for his gun under his arm. He's like, whoa, okay, I get it. It was a joke, buddy. It was a joke. Calm down, Jesus Christ.
I keyed.
He's like, this guy, what's Bonus, jeez.
What's the deal with this guy?
Like, tense like a tightrope. Am I right, gentlemen? Ho. Anyway, it's like, I will see you all in the stands, I guess. And he walks away, finger guns, winks, and all. And you will end the session off
Yeah,
here.
I didn't expect to.
Fair
Didn't expect
enough.
to get buried back that fast.
Alright, guys. Well, that's the end of the episode. You know what to do if you liked it. If you didn't, well, we don't care. We only care if you liked it.
I had a good time, so.
A very good time. Except for Flavius. Fuck Flavius.
Lamau.
But anyway, we'll see you in the next episode.